this should be probably the easiest part of the setup. But we'll see. Nope, definitely not. All right, so let's see what we got here. Now, this is the 60-gallon reservoir. I believe this is probably the top. This is how you fill it. These are the tubes that come out of it. All right. So, all right. So what I'm going to do now is probably read the instructions and get this thing set up. A little bit more complicated than I thought, but let's show you what's in the box here. All the fittings. We got some foam here. We've got, looks like to be some tape. So it looks like we've got some plumbing to do. So I'm going to get started on that. Found this part to be a little tricky. There's a couple tricks that I would show you guys. So first of all, make sure that these are secure all the way. They've hit the actual inside O-ring. So what you're going to do is kind of like putting on a car tire. If you know how to do that, you want to go opposite sides. So I already have these two sides to give the thing stability so I can show you what to do. So when you go in here, you're going to see a little place to lock it in. You're going to slide this down. And then you're going to kind of hold it in. Now what you need to do is create pressure so that this thing goes all the way down. Then what you do is you take this cap and you put it there and you screw it down to tighten it, and that gives it the support that it needs. So a little bit of a trick. It was a little tricky to get the first couple in, but now it's going to go pretty smooth. But I just figured I'd tell you, you want to do opposite sides to get it started. Definitely a quick trick. Let's go ahead and unbox this thing. Honestly, this part is what I'm most excited about, and I'll tell you why. Because having this thing control the grow could be a game changer for me and free me up with a lot of time to be able to do other things here on the farm. So I'm really excited to see how this all plays out. This could really just change the future of our indoor growing. All right, so well packaged. No need to explain packaging. Looks like there's a whole bunch of stuff inside of it. All right, so let's go ahead, get rid of that. Let's see what kind of goodies this thing comes with here. Just gonna pop the top off of this. Okay, I'm assuming this is a pump of some sort. Yep. So we'll put that off to the side. Here's one pump. Here's a bunch of hose. And this is key because there's apparently this thing can drain water and it can also pump water. So the hose is key, and with having water inside the barn, it's not going to be an issue for us. So I am looking forward to that. So we'll put that over here. All the sensors and stuff are very well foamed in so they don't get damaged. I'm going to actually keep the foam on one of them because it looks like it's in a sensitive spot. Now, this guy goes in here. A lot of sensors in here. I'm noticing there's at least 2 or 3 sensors just right here. Might even be some more. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sensors just inside of this module, which is pretty impressive. All right, so here's everything it comes with and all the parts. We have the fabric pots, so we'll be doing that next. And now it's telling us how we can set it up. So essentially we can do the 25-gallon with 6, you can do 60, you can do 12. So in honesty, I mean, I don't know if we're going to do all 6. I might do 2. I don't know how we're going to do this. The 6-bucket system sounds nice, but I don't know if I want to do 6 plants. So I'm going to have to figure out this setup as we go along. But what I would like to do now is set it up with the reservoir. So you can explain all the brain control modular, the setup, the brain controller, all that stuff is in here. And then setting up the buckets and doing all that. So very excited. Let's get started with this. I'm going to hook it up to the reservoir and then bring you guys along and if there's any hiccups along the way, I'll bring you in and tell you that you need to know something. But this looks pretty straightforward. We're going to hook it up to the reservoir. So that's what I'm going to do now. This part is, I mean, it's not really tricky, but I wanted to show you guys. So you get these rubber grommets and you're just putting them in. And once they're secure, you're good. And then you can put these in if you're going to have flow. They also have capped ones. Everything else has been pretty self-explanatory. We got this the hose over here hooked up to one of the pumps in the reservoir. And that's it. So I'm going to keep putting the rubber grommets in, get this thing ready to get hooked up, and yeah, get the bucket set up. Okay, so this part got a little tricky, and I couldn't really cut in and out because I really had to pay attention, but let me kind of walk you through what we had to do. So, self-explanatory with the fill pump and the drain pump. Fill pump goes in there, drain pump goes in the module. The hoses is what the tricky part is. So they're not pre-cut. They give you a coil hose that you can see over there in the corner, and you have to kind of measure everything out. Now, that's a tricky part because the hose is a little curly from being in the box. It's got some memory, so it is a little bit tricky. Definitely have a good pair of scissors with you to cut your hose, and my suggestion is to cut longer than you need. That way you can shorten it up, and I think that's key because you can, you know, get probably shorter with the buckets, but this, you really want to get to the bottom of the reservoir. You don't want to short yourself on that, and you can always buy more tubing. I feel like you can get this stuff at local hardware store. So everything else pretty self-explanatory, but the tricky part was cutting the tubing. So maybe my one critique is to have pre-cut tubing labeled for what is what, but this system does go with a bunch of different reservoirs, so that may be a difficult task for AirCube. But so now we're in the stage of hooking up buckets. So I've got to figure out how I want to set this up, how many plants I want to put on this system. As I build it, I will tell you, I'm actually getting more and more excited to do more plants. And the reason I say that is because this system does look pretty easy once you have it set up. So let me get the cubes and let's get this party started. So this is the last step. So let's turn the box around so you can see what we got here. So this is the 6-site bucket system. This is everything it comes with. These are 5-gallon AirCube buckets. There's 6 of them in here. And so this system can easily run more than 6, but this is what we have. I don't know if I'm going to actually do all 6 buckets. I guess I should probably set it up so that there are 6 buckets. That's what the instructions call for. I don't know if that messes with the brain module or what. I don't know how it will react with empty buckets if we only decide to do 2 or 3 plants. So curious, nonetheless, to see how it all plays out. I don't know if we'll even have. Well, you know what? That's for another time. So let's go ahead and open this up and see what we got here. But yeah, this is the final step up until just really putting water in the reservoir and getting everything situated in here. Okay, so the first thing I'm seeing is all the fabric inserts that go into the actual cube buckets. So I'll put that off to the side. And here's even more hose. So again, this is key. You know, the hose is important. We already have plenty with the AirCube modular that came with. Now we have even more. So that's good to know. If you buy more buckets, you get a lot more tubing. Here we go with the rubber grommets again, and the same fittings that went on the modular, so it seems pretty universal. And so here is an AirCube bucket. So it's a 5-gallon bucket. Pretty cool. We'll go ahead and get all of these out, see if there's anything else in here. I think that's probably going to be it. I'll make sure. Very well packaged, you know. It always resonates with me just because when a company puts their time and effort into packaging, you know you're going to get the product that they're promising. So, not that this is much of an unboxing video, but alright, so we got all 6, no issues. Box is gone. Here's the instruction manual. Pretty much the same as the brain module. So I guess now I'm probably going to look through this and see if all 6 have to be hooked up. yeah, so I'm gonna get to do that, and then I'll bring you guys along when I find a good stopping point. Okay, so this is really simple. I've already built one, so I'm gonna walk you through the process of building one of the cubes. Again, it's really, really easy. Made it super simple. So again, we have one of these rubber grommets. We go ahead and we just fit it in. It's got the little ridge, so you just work it in there. Real easy. You take a T-bar style hose fitting, you plug it in. This is so that it can go around, and it's a 6-bucket system. After doing some reading, I think we're going to do the 6 buckets, but I don't know if we're going to have 6 plants. I think maximum would be 4, obviously. What I've noticed about this system is it actually is more feasible to go with soil, which I find interesting, instead of a hydro system. You can do a hydro system, but I think soil might be the preferred method, especially for me on a learning curve. So that's what that is. Then you take your air cube fabric pot. You go ahead. It's got 2 little handles, perfect, and you fit it right in. And that's it. You just keep going on. So I'm going to keep building all 6 units, and then we're really going to find its home in here in the grow room, and start connecting the hoses and possibly get ready to start growing here. Alright, so here you can see I have the 6 buckets laid out. They're definitely not connected by any hose yet. And over here you got the reservoir with the brain module, and we have the FC6500 light. That is pretty much the maximum coverage for that light. I mean, these 6 buckets is pretty much max capacity for the coverage underneath the light, so which is good. I mean, you want to use the light to a full potential while you've got it turned on. Now the real question is, what are we going to do? So are we going to go the 6 buckets? I can't find anything that says you can't do less, so I'm kind of slightly concerned if it's never been done. So we're going to go ahead and do the 6 buckets. We can always leave them empty. I've noticed that too, that just because there's ebb and flow doesn't mean you can't just not have anything in them. So that's kind of my plan going forward here, is I'm going to just get everything set up as if we're going to have a 6 bucket system. And then we may only do 2-3 plants max. We may even keep a mother plant in here. With the fabric pots being able to be removed, maybe I just put all my plants in here for the season. So that's something to consider too for the winter season, and just let this thing do all the work for me. So I do get nervous with the mother plants though. If we lose them, that's not good. But anyway, I'm going to get this set up with the tubes, and then I'll bring you in for the final walkthrough. Alright folks, so that is it. We have all the hoses hooked up, as you can see. You got them hooked up to the brain there, all hooked up around, all the way to the back. Goes over to this one, all connected, and back to the brain again. That's how the instructions have it. Now the cool thing is it's always something to be said when you get extra stuff, is I still have all this hose. So if there's something I need to change in the configuration or anything like that, they give you plenty of hose to do that, and that's really what you need to change anything. But right now everything is set up and ready to go, but that's not for today's video. Today was just building it, and I will have to say, I'm going to throw some Mars Hydro in here. The FC6500 light is great coverage for all 6 of these. So again folks, if you're looking for this setup, you got to think the whole thing. Now we are in half of the grow room, so that would be 4x8. That's pretty much the minimum I would think for this actual setup, is a 4x8. Obviously we're in an 8x8 grow room. It takes up a whole half of the grow room. So that's something to be said with that too, as far as space needed. The light coverage, definitely nothing smaller than the FC6500 light. That's going to provide just enough coverage for these 6 plants, which is perfect. We got some adjusting to do on, some stuff. I have them a little offset right now because if you think about the canopy and stuff like that, but there's always room for change. Got plenty of tubing to do that. But that is it for today, folks. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. If you guys are looking for the products used today from Mars Hydro or Aircube, check out the links in the description below. A big shout out to our friends at GrowAce for providing today's Aircube system, and of course our friends at Mars Hydro for providing the grow room and lights. That is it for today, folks. Hope you all stay happy, healthy, and I will see you in another video.